relay the messages that came out initially when I shuffle the cards before I go into this spread, okay? So keep in mind, this is the same spread that I've used for the rest of this year. And the only difference is that, I've laid all the cards out because they're smaller cards and they all fit on camera. So we're treating them as clusters and then 3 spiritual advice cards, okay? So let me relay the messages first and then we'll delve in here. The first thing that came out, I feel like I'm seeing this, okay? And I feel like you're moving from one phase of your life to the next, and it's like a major transition. And I feel for some of you, you're headed into the unknown, and there's worries, there's anxieties, and you are a very calculated sign, and I feel like you don't take risks lightly. So I feel like you really think about things methodically before you implement any type of new changes, any type of new ventures. And what it's saying to me, and I feel that coming through, is they're pretty much saying that you have some very strong divine protection, which I feel refers to more like spirit guides, ancestral spirits that want you to do well, because there is a purpose for you being here, and there is a purpose to the work that you're supposed to be doing and to the people that you're supposed to be helping. So I feel like in the next phase of your life, it's going to feel a little bit that voyage, that journey, the work that's coming through is going to be a little bit tumultuous, and as a result of it, you have some divine protection that is going to be required, and it's going to be very helpful for you. So don't worry, whatever you're heading into, like whatever unknown territory you are charting for yourself, it's going to be fine. And pay extra attention to your dreams, your intuition. I feel the element of the dream state coming through heavily. And I feel like no matter what, they are going to, no matter what's coming through from the external environment, they are going to buffer you. It doesn't mean, it's a green card to like uh, conduct yourself recklessly. It's not about that. It's more about like having divine protection because you're headed somewhere where you're supposed to be. So don't fear it, okay? What I'm also sensing is I feel like for some of you, this might be a job situation where wherever you are right now, it's very stable. It seems like it's very organized, and you're headed to a different place where things are very low vibrational. So the people that you're interacting with, the energy surrounding the environment, the circumstances, and the people that you're interacting with, I do feel like a very heavy energy, such as, depression, such as people who are kind of jaded by life. So you're going from a high vibrational space where things are organized, you're around functional people, healthy, emotionally well-adjusted people, and you're heading to a place where the energy, I feel, is very dense. And so it's basically saying here as a warning. So if that sounds familiar to you, you need to protect your energy level. So that means, finding ways to detach yourself so that the other people's burdens do not take them on as your own. Finding ways to distance yourself emotionally. Finding ways to cope with, I guess like maintain that sense of objectivity so that your energy level is not energetically like drained as a result of dealing with these people in this low vibrational space. Okay, so I feel a lot of you are in a helping profession, and I feel like you have to travel far to get to the demographic group that needs your help, and I feel like that environment is not positive. The work is very positive, it's very rewarding, but that environment can be very draining over time. So protect your energy level. Find ways, do white light protection if you need to. Find ways to get around it. And you're going to have to do this early on because I feel like a lot of things come at you all at once. And things are not the way that they seem. So, on the one hand, people might tell you, this is what it is. On paper, yes, that's what it is. But once you are physically in that environment, I feel like there's an element here of It's just going to be different. It's going to be unexpected. It's going to be challenging, but they want to assure you, like, don't fear it because you have divine protection. Okay. Um, what I'm also feeling is, for some of you, financially, things are going to be on the upswing for this month. Okay. I do feel financially things are stabilizing, and I do see as well, like a enhancement or improvement in your financial situation. I also feel that there's a family vibe that I'm seeing. I keep seeing like a family vibe, a lot of interactions with family members or talking to family members of people that you're working with or something like that. There's that element of blending the private and the personal, which is another clear indicator that the people you're dealing with might have boundary issues. So you want to protect yourself accordingly and keep things very, very focused, directed, and professional. I don't feel that it's coming from you. I feel like it's coming from people around you. You are an earth sign, so that sense of boundary is very clearly established early on. So protect personal, um, pr- protect the personal from the professional. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Um, the last thing I'm feeling is that it keeps telling me, like, messengers, birds, and things like that. Those are your spirit animals for this year. They come in with messages. They come in as signals, as like warnings, or as like a sign to either go ahead or to back away. So you need to pay attention to your surrounding. Situational awareness is going to be essential for you. And I feel like, I don't feel you're in any imminent trouble, but you need to be very, very highly in tune of your surrounding, okay? Not to scare you, but I feel like there are so many messages that are going to be coming through, and you need to be present, okay? Let me see what else here. There's one last message, and I'm having trouble putting it together, but I feel like I almost feel like I feel like court issues, legal issues. I don't feel that it's pertaining to your situation. It might be with the people around you. And I feel like you might be called in as mediator once again to diffuse a situation or to, document things or to move things along. So I feel like you're the one submitting documents and things like that on somebody else's behalf, which is great. I feel like, you're in that capacity where you are helping them. And I feel like they're frustrated because they're not getting anywhere. And you come in and you try to streamline the processes to help their case move along, which I feel like you're getting a lot of karma, like good karma as a result. Okay. So let's just go into this reading. If I recall anything, then I'll go back to it because the energy is just very coming in very, very clearly and very strongly. I'm like a little bit overwhelmed. So they're seeing like you are here and there's this cloud in the middle. And then you're trying to get to the other side. And that's what it feels like to me, like the environment. There is this drastic change. It's like going through some type of portal to get to the other side. So let's go into your reading. The first thing that the first cluster deals with the Fool and the Queen of Swords. So first of all, I want to talk about the Fool first. This is a card about new beginnings, embarking on a journey of learning, of self-discovery, discovering yourself, your capabilities, your potential, where you are supposed to be in the world, as well as discovering, things that about the world through interactions with other people. What I'm also feeling is for some of you, I feel that you are embarking on a new phase in your life. This can be either on the career front or just, new ways of like behaving in a specific environment. So I feel like a lot of you had to, like in the past, you were always the helpful person, the one that, come to everybody else's rescue. I feel like one of the major changes in personality or, coping mechanisms that you're going to have to learn for this month, especially, and going through the rest of the year, is how to protect your own boundaries and how to, be a lot more objective and a lot more critical. And now Virgos, it's a critical sign. You are quite picky. However, I feel like this is playing out in a different way where you have to be discerning and critical of what is being said. And I feel like not because it's innate, but because I feel like in order to do your job or in order to do something really well, you are going to have to be like a little bit more investigative. You can't take things at face value. You have to dig a little bit deeper and you have to ask these pertinent questions in order to flush out the truth, okay? So I feel there's that element circling around you where you are no longer naive. You're becoming a lot more objective. You're growing up in the process. And your ability to discern a lie or discern, the truth from lies, that's going to be very, very important for you in some areas of your life. This can be personal or it can be professional, okay? And I feel like it might be both for both of you because we do have a habit of learning skills that can help us through all areas of life, not just one nicely compartmentalized area. So I feel like it's a maturation process. It's an emotional process. It might be a little bit difficult for some of you to like learn to detach yourself from a specific situation, to look at it objectively, to not control outcomes, and to do the best that you can given the circumstances. And having to give up the fact that we can perform miracles overnight. So I hope that makes sense. What I feel is like in the past, you might have been very, very perfectionistic. You were striving for a specific outcome, and you feel like if I just put all the work, all of my energy into it, I'm going to make it to the best that it can possibly be. And I feel like the reality sets in, and you might realize that sometimes perfection is not like an achievable goal, and striving for perfection is just not something that we can do and expend our energy and expect to come to fruition. So I feel like realistic expectations versus, idealistic expectations, those are the two opposing energies coming through. And I feel like in the past, you might have felt like I'm ready to settle for those, realistic expectations, and you feel like a part of you loses as a result of settling for it. But I feel that this is a maturation process where you are realizing that some things, given the constraints, given the environment, we do the best that we can and hope for the best. And controlling for a specific outcome, aiming for perfection might not be realistic, okay? So there is definitely maturation in the way that you think, in the way that you approach problem solvings, and in the ways that you interact with people. And I feel it's positive. What else is coming through here is a lot of you are dealing with an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And I feel like this is a person who is very, very, very decisive. Once they make up their mind about something, they don't really fluctuate. They don't really change, and they're quite stubborn. And I feel like you know that they're headed towards a troublesome situation, and you're trying your best to give them counsel. And a part of you want to prevent them from some type of detrimental outcome, and a part of you wants to warn them. But I feel that a big part of you also believes that they are living their lives, and they need to make their mistakes in order to learn, in order to grow. So I feel like a lot of you want to get involved, but you're holding back, mainly because you don't want to interfere with other people's karma. And if this sounds familiar, if this sounds familiar and you feel like, should I or should I not intervene? The thing here is that, we have to like learn to love other people with detachment, okay? And it's really important to learn because we cannot interfere in other people's karmic lessons especially. Some things need to be played out in order for the person that's going through it to truly learn it and to truly absorb that lesson. So I feel like you're on the threshold of, wanting to intervene, but it's not within your power to do so, and it's not going to be wise for you to do so. So boundary issues, once again, Boundaries is not just about keeping people out, but it's also about, where do I fit in, where do I start and where do others start? Where do I end and where do others begin? So these things are coming through, and I feel like it's coming through with somebody that you really care about. This can be a friend, this can be a colleague, this can be just somebody that you are romantically involved with as well. I also feel like there is a voyage, a trip, somebody is coming through to see you as well. And it might be an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And I feel like you are picking their brain mainly because, they are very objective and very detached. And I feel that vice versa, some of you, it could be the other way where you are having trouble with objectivity and they're giving you a dose of a reality check, okay? Not in a bad way. I feel like they're giving out advice. And I do sense as well travel, someone coming to see you, you coming to see somebody else. There is an exchange of like best practices. There is an exchange of ideas and counsel and advice, okay? Now, the second cluster here deals with some really, really karmic stuff. And first of all, we have here the Six of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. One of the first thing that the sixes, especially the Six of Pentacles, I always think of it as like karma, good or bad karma. This is kind of like the reaping of, reaping what you sow. And I honestly feel like for a lot of you, especially those of you who are in the service sector, who are working in some capacity as a person who serves other people. So that can be a civil servant, that can be, in the public sector, or you're in some capacity where you are helping people in some way in the helping profession. I feel that there's this element here of, sailing over troubled waters and helping other people navigate, a very dire situation that they couldn't do on their own. So if you can recall, within the past like 6 years or so, if you have been helping people in that capacity, I feel like you're going to be handsomely rewarded, okay? This is not to say that, if you haven't been doing that, that you're off track. I just feel like karma coming back home to roost, some really tenuous situation. I feel that, the thanks, the accolades, the appreciation is coming back through for you. And at the same time, I feel like there is such a thing as a universal, rebalancing act where whatever work that you're doing, if you're working very, very diligently, you are going to be handsomely rewarded. I do see promotions. I do see pay increases with the Six of Pentacles. And I feel that, you're going to overcome your financial worries if that has been something that's plaguing you. And you feel like you work very hard, but you feel like you're not being adequately compensated. There is going to be some type of a rebalancing of that karmic scale in your favor, I feel. So that's what's coming through as well. And the Six of Pentacles is a card about generosity. It's a card about like giving alms, like helping people who are less fortunate than us. So there's an element here where you are going to have to step up for this month to take charge of a situation and help somebody that is less fortunate than yourself, either monetarily or even, with counsel, with advice, or with a means to better their lives in some way. Okay, so whatever you do, just know that you will be rewarded handsomely. So this is just, do things out of the kindness of our hearts. We do things not because we want compensation, but, I feel like it's coming through. So in whatever capacity that is, I feel that it's going to be good for you. I'm also sensing that this is a good month if you have like children and you want to do some type of community service, or you feel like, what's a good activity for me to do with the kids, tomorrow, and you're kind of like out of ideas. Take them to do some type of community service, mainly because I'm seeing the tower here. So I feel like some things can be navigated around, and this might be a good start. So do some type of, if you have children, if you are thinking about fostering children, if you are thinking about fostering pets or something like that, some good deeds, I feel it's really going to be helpful for this month, okay? So I do feel that might be something that you want to look into if you're interested. Mainly because I do feel that it's going to buffer the effects somewhat. It's going to buffer that, okay? So going through the third cluster here, we do have the Two of Pentacles as well as the Strength card. And the Two of Pentacles basically indicates, oh, also, let me backtrack a little bit. I apologize, but this is one last message coming through here. A lot of you might be taking out loans, property for repairs or to, refinance a property with this tower here. So I feel that, if you're waiting on some decision whether or not to sell your property or whether or not some loans, some money coming through from a financial institution or from a governmental institution is going to come through, I do feel that the answer is yes. And I do feel that it's going to help you navigate over some trouble spots within your financial life. I do feel there's an element here of 2 months before things sorting themselves out and smoothing themselves out. So it's still going to be a little bit of a wait, but I feel that you're going to sail over it, okay? So moving on to the third cluster here, we do have the Two of Pentacles as well as the Strength card. The Two of Pentacles indicates a situation where we are juggling. This can be personal, private life, or professional life. And, that balance, that kind of like trying to keep things spinning, trying to keep things afloat. And this can also indicate a situation where job offers are on the table and you are trying to decide which one to go with, or you are trying to make ends meet by having two jobs, juggling two jobs. And I feel like it's a situation where they're telling you things are going to get better, so hang in there just a little bit more. Don't give up on it and don't jump the gun and decide on anything right now, because I feel like what initially seems like a great decision, like if you're choosing between two things and the first thing that jumped out at you, I feel like you're going to have a change of heart towards the middle or towards the end of the month. And I feel like, it seems great right now because you might want to wait a way out, but there's something better coming through. So, it's kind of like that irony where good things come to those who wait, and you should try to wait it out just a little bit longer if you can for a better opportunity to come through that you might not initially, anticipate or expect the first time around. The Strength card is also a card about, it's like coaxing. It's essentially manipulating a situation to your favor, but doing so in a way where whoever you're dealing with also sees what you see and also sees the benefits to what you're doing. So what I sense is that for a lot of you, you're dealing with somebody who is very, very, very stubborn, very fixed in their ways, very just like, their minds are already made up about everything. That's what I'm feeling. You might be dealing with this air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And one of the tricks is, you're trying to convince them of a specific, to see your side of the argument. And they're telling you, rather than going head to head, the smarter thing to do is to coax them, to provide some type of narrative so that it's relatable to them, so that they understand, where you're coming from, and it doesn't antagonize them. It doesn't, escalate the tension within the interaction. So they're telling you, find a different way to get people to see from your point of view, and it's going to require a little bit of thinking outside the box. But you're going to get whatever you want through, gently coaxing somebody rather than being confrontational. So keep tempers in check and, let people talk and then feel where they're coming from, okay? So I feel like a lot of it has to do with just, sitting in silence or sitting and let the other person just talk, and then see what comes out, and then see, what angle you can spin a story or what angle you can approach them at in order to get them to see things from your point of view, all right? Now, the last cluster deals with the Chariot and the Tower. The Chariot is a very, very good card. This is a card about winning. It's a card about victory. It's a card about triumph over, a lot of self-doubt and self, like, I feel like the Chariot card usually indicates like whatever that has been blocked is now, all systems go. So whatever that was held up in your life, whatever legal issues or legal counsel you had to navigate around, whatever breaches of personal space that you've had to contend with within the past few years, things are starting to clear up for a lot of you. And a lot of you are leaving, one place of living for another. A lot of you might need to do some physical repairs within the household, and you're running back and forth, trying to, find contractors, or trying to find like the best rates, or even trying to find parts so that you can do it yourself. I would advise to try to look at specialists in order to fix things that you're not too familiar with, because I don't feel that it's going to work out well for do-it-yourself projects on things that are important, such as plumbing or electrical work. Okay, that's you need a specialist for those things. And what I'm also feeling as well is I feel like there's a lot of change movement happening for you. And in the past, I feel like a lot of you might have waited for situations to get better. And this is the month in which you're like, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm going to take charge of my life. And I feel like that's great energy. And I feel like it takes, a lot for an earth sign to finally move and get things started on their own. It takes a lot. And I feel that, all this waiting in the past, you're tired of it and you're moving forward. And I feel that the universe is supporting this move, because I do sense that you're leaving some things behind and you're moving on to a better space. And a lot of you, if you are if you are like changing jobs as well, the new job, it seems to me like there's a lot of traveling involved. I don't feel like it's overseas. I feel like it's local. And I feel like there's communication from overseas as well, or further away, but the geographical zone that you are traveling around for the new job is not going to be that far, okay? I'm also feeling, I'm also feeling like institutions for some reason with this card. It's a tower, but I think like it's a guard tower. It seems like, something about guarding, something about, a watchtower, something about, having this bird's eye view, and you see everything that's happening below, and you're kind of like able to help people navigate some very tricky situation, and they might not see, the forest for the trees, but you're able to guide them, you're able to direct them to where they're supposed to be. So the energy is very positive. Okay, so I saw the Tower card, so I pulled out 3 cards here. And first of all, we do have here the Seven of Swords in the reverse. Be very careful about, vehicle issues, your car being broken into. Don't park it in a dangerous neighborhood. Do not leave purses, money in clear view in the car. Just be careful about that, because I do see theft here. This is a card about sneaky energy, like leaving things behind, leaving a paper trail, or even like overlooking a certain situation, trusting somebody that had no business, trusting. So I feel like, going back to what I mentioned, the environment that you're moving into, the vibrational energy is very low. So you might encounter, like it might be an area with a lot of crime, with high poverty rates, for example, where people have to commit crimes of opportunities. And, people have to do all kinds of things to survive. So this is not a judgment call, but it's more about, watching your back, and be careful about cars, and don't leave, purses and things behind in the car when you lock up for the night, okay? I have as well the Four of Cups in the reverse position, and I feel like what it's telling me is you might be dealing with some people who are very, very manipulative here. So it seems almost as if they know how to work a system, is what I'm getting. They know how to get around things to get exactly what they want. And they know how to, they know all the tricks in the books. And I feel like that's why going head to head is going to aggravate the situation. So you need to find like a better way to, play on their emotions and and pretend like you're on their team. So I feel there's this undercurrent of manipulation going back and forth. I don't feel like it's done in a malicious way, but I feel like it's done in a very, very politically I would say like stealthy way. It's done in a very diplomatic but also stealthy way, okay? So that's the people that's in your environment that you might need to deal with. And there's a lot of office politics and things like that involved, but underneath it is kind of like this layer of like a mixture of diplomacy and mixture of cunning. And that's what you're going to need to do in order to do your job, or in order to, successfully work in this environment. All right. What's coming through in terms of your spiritual advice? And I really like this card because this is the card of Virgo. It is the Hermit. It is somebody with a lot of wisdom, with a lot of insight, and also with a lot of spiritual guidance in order to give you, that bird's eye view of a situation in order for you to see it very, very clearly. So first of all, I feel like this is the energy that you are embodying, one of the Hermit, okay? We have here the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles traditionally indicates like a person that is, a business owner, a self-employed person, someone who is very, very financially well off. And I do feel there are going to be business ventures that if you are thinking about opening up your own business, there is a fire sign here, a Sagittarius, a Sagittarius, a Leo, or an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising that you are potentially coming to for business ventures, for advice regarding business ventures, or somebody's thinking about wanting you to partner up with them in order to start something. And I feel like it is a very, very fruitful business relationship if that's something that will come to fruition, because I feel that, there's a sense of loyalty, there's a sense of like, it's a good complementarity between you and this other person. So I feel that it can work out. It can be very financially lucrative as well, okay? The other thing about this Queen of Rods here, and I feel like if you are embodying this energy, what I really want to say is that it seems almost as if like you this month for a lot of you, you're embodying this energy of a very, very like playful, adventurous spirit. And make sure you keep that in check, because with the Fool card, the Fool is like the first major arcana in the deck, so he does not know where he's going. And he's still, he's childlike and innocent, but he might need some guidance. So I feel like, on the one hand, you want to be you want to like grab opportunities, but on the other hand, it's telling you to slow down a little bit and assess the situation very clearly. Do some preliminary research before you dabble into a new venture, okay? So let me go into your love reading here, Virgos. Let me clear up the energy from the previous reading here. So can you... Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna have to pull out another round because it's not giving me like, one clear story here. And I've had to do this for the past I feel like 3 or 4 readings, which is kind of strange. Okay, so let me start with the past. Okay, so we do have the Two of Cups, which is, some type of a spiritual union, some type of a soul connection, some type of a soulmate, cord of attachment type of an energy coming through. We have the Nine of Cups, which is a wish card. It's an emotional fulfillment card. It also indicates a situation where somebody is overindulgent or they have a lot of options. And as well, we have the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords in this deck, it indicates kind of like spiritual ascension, okay? What I'm feeling here, let me see. Okay, so let's just look at this first. I feel like a lot of you were in a situation where you essentially have met your soulmate, and you are going through or you are experiencing a relationship where there is a lot of reciprocity. So this is somebody that a lot of you couple people might have found the one that is right for you. And then others of you, I feel like you might have had this relationship in the past and you might have moved away from it because that karmic relationship has ended. And it went through its natural progression and now it's done and over with. I feel for a lot of you, they're still friendly speaking. You're still on friendly speaking terms with this person. So no matter who this person is, I still feel that, you care about them on a human level. They likewise still care about you on a human level. What I feel is that the person was somebody who was very protective of you. They made you feel good no matter what. They always took care of you. And they made sure that you were always safe, happy, comfortable, and, content. So I definitely feel there was a lot of love and in some type of a karmic relationship that you're in right now, or this has been something from the past, okay? For those of you who are still in it, I feel like there might be some arguments coming through for this month. It's minor. For others of you that have already, broken up with this person, it could be an ex-spouse, it could be an ex-lover, it could be, just somebody you had like, I don't feel it's one of those people that come in and out of your life, because I feel like the energy that they exude is one that is very harmonious. So a lot of you might have broken up with this person. And I feel with this card, the Four of Swords, it's sort of like somebody like not budging. It's like the relationship is not coming back together. You might have wanted it to come back together and you're still waiting for the person to be the first one to make contact, because I feel like you want to like cycle back to that period in time where you had this person, or you want something similar to what you used to have, okay? So I do feel a little bit of nostalgia coming back through from this spread, which brings us to the present situation. A lot of you might have been dealing with a water sign in the past, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. And what's happening here is you've moved away from it with the Five of Cups. The other person might have also moved away from you. So there's a lot of like things that were unsaid. A lot of like, I do feel regrets. I do feel almost like nostalgia for the past, reminiscing about the past, dwelling on the past and not being able to let go. So I feel some of you are still yearning for this, and I feel that there is, the water sign that you might have been with, and you really want the situation to come back around and to really work out. But what I feel here is it's linked up with the Ten of Swords, which basically means that you need to move away from it emotionally as well. All this dwelling, all this, beating yourself up over what really transpired in that relationship is really not helping you progress. And the important thing is, I feel like, that karmic relationship was there. It is done and over with. So this is kind of like, that last piece of closure that you're going to need in order to move on. And I feel like if it's a water sign that you were dealing with and you're hoping for things to get better, for things to come back together, I don't feel it's going to. And I do feel that it is in your best interest to try to move past it, because with this card, there are two cups in the future. She's not looking at it, and the two cups means the Two of Cups, which means there will be another soulmate. And especially if you're in a soulmate connection, or you have trouble letting go of those cords of attachment, or cutting those ties, new karmic relationships can't come in if you're still dwelling on that previous karmic relationship. So keep that in mind. Others of you might have just resigned yourself to, moving on. And you are encountering a similar energy where, the relationship has new potential. So this is what I feel. There is a new water sign, brand new water sign that is coming through. Whatever situation that was in the past, I feel like you're moving on, and you're starting to date, but a lot of you are still very fearful about, past disappointments. And it's sort of like you have somebody coming through who's very sweet and who's very sincere, but you doubt it, and I feel like you don't trust it. And because of past disappointment. So just keep that in mind. But I feel like it has the potential to pan out very wonderfully if you just give it the time of day, and if you give the other person a chance, okay? Now, the crowning energy is something that you are thinking about. We do have the Nine of Wands, the Two of Coins, and the Emperor. I feel like a lot of you are reassessing whether or not to get involved with somebody. And I feel like this is a card about somebody who's been battle scarred, okay? And I feel like this is the person that you're dealing with. A lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign, a Sagittarius, a Leo, or an Aries. And what it's telling me with this card is the fire sign is somebody who's very, very adventurous, who has been through a lot. They might have had children out of wedlock. They might have, children that they physically need to take care of. They have a lot of wisdom through their life experiences, and it didn't make them jaded. It made them very strong. It made them very resilient. And as a result of it, they are pretty sure about what they want. So a lot of you are dealing with a person who is in a high position, such as a supervisor or manager. They make good money. They're very financially stable. And I feel like they're somebody that other people really look up to in their field. So you're encountering somebody who is actually, very adamant about pursuing you. And I feel like you're assessing whether or not to get involved with this person, because a big part of you feels to me like you're a little bit jaded. You might also have a proposal coming through from a water sign, so you might be juggling two options. You might just be dating two people, or two different people, and you're trying to see, or you're trying to assess what's the best option that's available to you. So I feel like, either way, it's not a bad energy. It's just I feel like with the fire sign, they know what they want. This is somebody who is dependable. They understand human nature. They've been through a lot. And I feel like they know about commitment, they know about sacrifice, and they know how to, truly love and invest their time and their energy into cultivating a relationship. So I feel like you're in good hands, okay? And a lot of you are just still deciding, reassessing, and weighing out the pros and cons before you make a move. The foundation is the thing on which the situation is built. We do have here the Four of Wands, the Temperance card, and the Three of Wands. The Four of Wands indicates some type of a union. This is a family relationship card. It's also a marriage card. We do have the Temperance card as well. And this is a card about patience, diligence, and the Three of Wands, which is waiting for your ship to come through. Now, for some of you who are in relationships, and you're not married just yet, you're not, committed to one another, I feel like a lot of you have somebody that you like, possibly a water sign. There's that fire sign too, but the fire sign seems like it's new. A lot of you might be, thinking about taking a relationship to the next level, moving in together, sharing a location, or at least kind of like solidifying some type of a union with another person, either verbally, like let's date exclusively, or physically, such as moving in, getting married, and things like that. But either way, I feel like you're thinking about this, and I do sense that you're waiting around for the other person to pop the question. And I feel that a lot of you are kind of like impatiently waiting. You might have been waiting for some time, possibly for the past like a year or so. And I feel that the relationship is going to be taken to the next level and it's going to be very stable. All of these cards as the foundation are actually very good because they indicate stability, and they indicate that, a lot of you might be in a soulmate connection where you are living with the other person already. And you're just like, well, where do we go from here? The next logical step is to get married and have a family together. So I feel like you might have been together for quite some time and you're thinking, you might have a discussion about, what do we do next? Where do we go from here? So those are important questions that are going to be raised this month. And I do feel proposals. I do feel like outpouring of love from other people to you and you out to other people. But more so, upping the commitment level within a relationship is highly indicated here. And I feel like it came as a result of, a lot of financial stability coming through from the partner as well. In terms of your future position, we have the Star card, which is the card about wish fulfillment. This is kind of like, seeing that light at the end of that tunnel. And we have the Devil and the Seven of Wands. Now, first of all, if you are dealing with earth signs, and this is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, I feel like their financial situation might have been in flux, but now things are getting better. They're on top of their game. They're no longer being controlled, or they're kind of like taking charge of their life. Okay, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The star indicates a lot of healing energy. So I definitely feel some type of solidification coming through as a result of, if you're waiting specifically, there's going to be that moment where you both take the relationship to the next level. I do feel that, because relationships are being amped up, there are going to be some ground rules that are laid. There are going to be a little bit of restrictions associated with it as well. And as a result, you might need to, curb the way that you behave. They need to curb the way that they behave in order to navigate each other's space, or navigate the shared space that you're going to be sharing with each other. We also have the Seven of Wands here. And what I'm feeling here is specifically, some of you are, I feel like some of you are dating somebody, and I feel like your social group, your family might not approve. And I feel that, this is the month in which you might need to like not take this lying down, but like to really stand up for the people that you care about. I feel like there are social expectations and things like that, or there are restrictions that are really dampening the relationship. But I do sense that, this is the month in which you get on the platform and you start to, defend the other person against all opposition. So I feel that's what's happening here in the love reading for you. There are a myriad of ways in which this can play out, but I feel like you're a practical enough sign, okay? And you know that you know where you're supposed to be headed. But I do sense that, especially for coupled people, there is going to be a little bit of conflict coming through via family members. And, people have a habit of chiming in where they don't belong. So just if it's a relationship between you and your partner, I do sense that you want to keep it as such, okay? So for coupled people, there might be family issues. There might be, opposition coming in from the external environment. But it's going to bring you both together. I do feel that. And I do feel a lot of relationships that have been, functional, being taken to the next level. And I also feel, a lot of the single people, there is new energies here for meeting people, new people. Water signs and fire signs come in very strongly, okay? So Virgos, I do wish you the best. And I apologize for the delay in getting this video out to you. If you'd like a private reading, please visit my website where you can view my availability in the US, and enjoy the rest of your month. Bye-bye.